How's it going, folks? It's been a while. Boy, has it been a while. Why did the guy from Stained have to ruin that phrase? Because now every time I say it, I think of that stinking song. And it makes me want to hurl. I mean, he's got some good songs too, but anyway, enough about late 90s, early 2000s butt rock. Or what was Stained? Were they butt rock? Were they new? Oh, probably new metal. New metal. All this garbage that was popular when I was a kid, a young man, is coming back, and it's freaking me out. Anyway, so there have been a lot of things going on in the cinema family. Many things. So many. There's a lot of people I'd like to talk about. So many. We branded cattle a few weeks ago. Very big. They were big calves, biggest calves I've ever seen. Anyway, and that was cool. It's always fun. Well, rewarding, yes, to brand calves with your family. If you grew up on a ranch, you know how that goes. People get yelled at. People get whapped in the face with gates and other blunt objects. Calves escape this, and we had some people to get a little ranchy. Oh, excuse me, by the way, I'm from Montana, from Montana, which I'm going to talk about. See, those of us who are from here have an understanding that cattle used to outnumber people. I heard a stat somewhere that cattle no longer outnumber people in Montana, and to me, that's a problem. That's a real problem. I don't blame people for wanting to live here, but I do wish that folks would just take some inventory of themselves and their lives before they do move here, and just understand that if you're a jerk, you're taking yourself with you when you come here. So now we've got one more jerk, one more inconsiderate, urban-minded jerk, impolite, inconsiderate, non-personable jerk, idiot who's moving here. Forgive me, I'm a little angry, and I'm going to tell you why. It inspired me. I'm gonna do a little bit of hibbity. Anyway, it inspired me to record this episode because I'm so sick and tired. It's a constant flow. When you live in Bozeman, it's a constant flow of out-of-state license plates. And I get it, like in my business, and I don't mean my regular day job, but in my part-time job as a musician, it runs off tourism. I'm appreciative, blah, 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 blah. But it comes to a certain point where you just get so sick of people coming from big cities, moving to Montana, and wanting to make Bozeman, Missoula, Butte, who knows? They're probably not moving to Butte because it's not hoity-toity enough, but they'll ruin that too soon enough. And they move here and they want to make it a city. Make it just like the city they came from. And they all say this. I don't care if it's West Coast, East Coast. They all say this. Yeah, where I came from, it's really bad. That's not helping you. Okay, multiple generation Montanans speaking here, all right? We go back. We go way back. I have friends who go further back, but we go further back than a lot of the people that I talk to, both sides of the family, multiple generations. And people move here, and they'll say where they're from, and most of the time it's, yeah, I'm from California. Like, but where I came from, it's really, really bad where I came from, though, and it's bad there, and this is way better, so that's why I came here, because it was bad there. Okay. I've heard the story 1,000 times for 20 years or more. And so have all the other Montanans. We don't care about how bad it is where you came from. We do not care. That does not make us all of a sudden want to have you around. We don't want you here. Montanans who have been born and raised here, for whom this state and this dirt and this whole area is a part of it's a literal part of our DNA. I can't stress that enough. When you're from Montana, Montana is a part of who you are. I think more intimately so than many places. But I've got good friends from New York. I've got a friend from Massachusetts. I've got friends for whom that is also true. That a friend of mine who is an oyster guy. He works. He says he farms the sea. For him, his area, it is a part of his DNA. But being from here, it's a part of who we are, and so we don't take it lightly. We love our place. We love it. We don't just love it because we are outdoor activity people and we spend all of our time in kayaks taking pictures of ourselves in our kayak and look at how idyllic it is. We're here because we were born here and we come from people who were born here. So actual Montanans, and I hate to say this, but I don't consider you being truly from Montana if you were born here and the rest of your family were not born here. Now, I understand that can only go so far. I understand that. But to me, like if your family moved here in the early 2000s and you were born here, I mean, I guess you're a first-generation Montanan, but you don't have near the history, the blood, the sweat, and the tears that the rest of us have, that we draw back on. That, I mean, one of my mom's relatives generations ago, one of the Kennas sold a wagon to somebody, and that wagon is in the Museum of the Rockies right now. It's green. It's got red spoked wheels, wooden. You can see it. Like, we go back here. We go way back. This is a part of our lives. And so having grown up on a ranch and watching my dad and brother work really hard and watching our friends work really hard and struggle to make a living and gut it out. And I mean, seriously, it's not easy. It's not like that freaking TV show Yellowstone. There are things that they get right. They get right. Caleb will talk about this. They get right the struggle between developers and ranchers. They do get that right. But there's a lot of stuff they get wrong. They over-glamorize the lifestyle. They make it look like ranch people are just riding horses around. Oh, I gotta go do this, so I'm gonna get on my horse, when a normal person would have taken a four-wheeler or walked. And it's, by the way, we don't call them quads here. They're four-wheelers. That's what we call them here. So when you come here, you adjust to here. We don't adjust to you. But the inevitable issue with urban sprawl is this. More and more and more and more people, they move to Bozeman, they move to Missoula. More and more people are moving up to Kalispell and other towns, Billings to a lesser extent, but still it's growing. And they want this place to become like the place from whence they have hailed, from where they've moved. They want to make Montana like their home. So they came from California, Washington, Oregon, wherever else, and they want to make it like where they came from, but they don't want any of the bad stuff to come with them. But what they don't realize is they bring the bad stuff. They bring it with them because it's been ingrained in them. Rudeness, impoliteness, lack of consideration for others, overly aggressive driving. Just today, I was actively being cut off by a senior citizen in a luxury sedan with California plates. So inconsiderate and even reckless. We don't drive bumper to bumper. In Montana, you used to not have bumper to bumper traffic. We do now in Bozeman, which is ridiculous. It's so inundated with people. But we didn't do that. We didn't tailgate people or cut people off. Yes, of course, everywhere you're going to have outliers, and you're going to have people that drive inconsiderately, and I understand that. But this whole deal of things getting skewed toward the urban, and I had a guy a couple of years ago. I was talking to him, and he's from somewhere out east, and he goes, "Well, man, like places grow, places grow." And yeah, I get it. I understand. In a way, I get that's kind of helpful. And I understand that places grow, but the problem with the growth in Montana is they are slanting this area to become more like the place they came from. And they're all doing it. Now, if you come here and you want to be nice, you will get along great with Montanans. If you show people respect, if you have honor, if you walk the walk instead of just talking the talk, if you don't obsessively, compulsively brag about how great the place you came. This is what's so weird. People will come from California And they'll go, oh man, it was so bad where I came from. Where I came from was like, so you do here. It was so bad where I came from. Oh, that's why we came here. It's so much better in Montana. And then in the same conversation, they'll be like, there's no good place to get a taco here at all. There's like no good. You guys don't even have In-N-Out up here. Like, you know what? Go back. Go back. Don't move here and complain about how bad it is while complaining about how bad it was where you came from. You know, the common denominator there is you. If where you came from wasn't good enough and this place isn't good enough, there's a chance that you have a deficiency in your brain and in your spirit, and you need to deal with that. And of course, none of those people would listen to this podcast, but it's just something that is so annoying to me. The individuals that relocate and they want to make the new place like their old place. I suppose that's the trajectory of human civilization, if that's what you can call what we have here now. I'm not sure what I'd call it. A lot of words come to mind that I won't say. But it's just very frustrating. It's frustrating for actual Montanans when people move here and they're inconsiderate and they're money grubbing and they just buy, money talks, buy everything, buy the land, buy the homes. And then those of us who actually are from here, we can't afford to live here. And it's unavoidable and it's inevitable. The slow boil, the slow demise of our way of life here, the Gallatin Valley, it's an agricultural place. I just saw somebody who I know is not from here share something about how much they love the farm country. I go, this would be the same kind of person that would be bashing farmers and ranchers on social media. I can almost guarantee it. People complain to my dad and brothers when their cows get out. They don't, when they have pasture in undisclosed places. I'm not going to share on this. And a couple cows get out and people threaten to sue my dad and my brother. And you think, okay, you've moved to the West, you've moved to Montana, you've moved to a place that was settled by cowboys. I mean, obviously before that there were, and there still are, a great amount of natives here that were here before all of us, by the way, and the way that they were treated is absolutely atrocious. The way they are treated is absolutely atrocious. I can only speak to my own experience, though, and these people that come here, they have no concern, no understanding for the heritage of this place, no consideration whatsoever, and I'm sick of it. And how do I say this? I try to be a little bit of an ambassador for people who are actually from here, but that's the issue. People move from one city into a smaller city, so they move from a big city in another state, they come to a smaller city in Montana, and their behavior doesn't change at all. You took yourself with you. Oh, it was so bad there. Yeah, well, when you brought yourself here, you brought some of the bad that you left. You thought you left the bad behind, but you came here and you washed it all off here, and it's stuck with you. Like you take it with you. You can't wash it off. Now, I happen to be a person of faith and a Christian. Obviously, if you know me, you know that, and I know people can change, and I know God can change people. But it gets to be so frustrating. For me, I grew up on the end of at the end of a gravel road, and so I live in the middle of Bozeman, and sometimes it just drives me nuts. I can't get from one end of the town to another in under 15 minutes, which is ridiculous. Like, if you've lived here for a long time, you know how ridiculous that is. And again, I don't blame people, but there also is a little bit, okay, I'm a small government guy for the most part, but you got to wonder about the effect of unrestrained consumerism on this place, on the Gallatin Valley. All these folks that they move here and they build giant houses and then they try to care for the environment. Like, why don't you live in a sod hut without power if you care that much? It's so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical the way people act. They come here, they try to impose their values, their ways of life. Everything, they bring everything with them. Now, I have to speak a little bit of a disclaimer here because I have some really, really good friends from California who are genuinely good people. You all know who you are. You know who you are. I'm not speaking against you. Folks that came here for what I view to be legitimate reasons, and have been a good thing, have been a net positive for this area. And I really believe that. Those of you who I know from California that I spend time with, you're good people and I love you. But I think a lot of them are sick of the same stuff because they came over here in a different time and they did assimilate. They became culturally Montanans. These are people that they wrapped their head around the value system of people from here. And I'm not going to get into the value system, but honor is a big part of it. They have honor. They do what they say they're going to do. They're considerate for other people. You can only push them so far and then they're done. And that's the Californians that I know that live in this valley, that live in this general area. They're just like that. They're wonderful people. But a lot of the folks that seem to be moving in or visiting, just total lack of respect. And there are other people from other states, by the way. I was literally told, I won't even get into it. I was disrespected by a man from another state, and I checked him, and he backed down very quickly. Was ragging on Montana, coming to Montana on vacation, and then running it down. And I don't know if you want to tick Montanans off, just complain about Montana. Like move here and then complain about it, and we will all be extremely angry. And it gets me to the point where my blood is boiling so much. I shudder at the thought of what I could do. Anyway, don't show up here and disrespect the people, disrespect the land. It's just so crazy to me. The eternal struggle, and we have high rises going up and all this stuff. And I understand the way that the world works is that people build homes and people move. But it'll never happen. What I'm going to say will never happen. I just wish folks would sit with themselves for a while and take inventory of their lives and ask, is it really going to make things better for me if I move? Now, I know people who had it so bad in the place they came from, they needed to move somewhere else just to get out of danger. I don't begrudge anyone that. And there are a few people like that. But you got to understand, when you come here, you need to allow this place to alter who you are. You don't alter this place with who you are. You need to change. You need to calm down. You need to take your foot off the gas pedal once in a while. You need to be considerate. You need to change when you come here. And those of you who are in-state people who have been here for multiple generations, send this to your out-of-state friends. Because to me, this is a perspective that I've heard from a lot of other folks that are from Montana. We're just sick and tired of people moving here, disrespecting us, disrespecting this place. It's so selfish. They're like locusts. They all blow into a place. They totally eat it down to the ground and destroy it till it becomes a desert. And then will they move on? You know, at least locusts move on after they've destroyed a place. Here, this is a quote from good old Rube here. This is my own quote. This is what I say of a lot of the out-of-staters that move here. I came to ski and ruin things, and I'm all out of things to ruin. And oh, by the way, our beloved Republican governor is all about development. And you can argue with my brother Caleb and I about that in person. Challenge accepted. But these people are lining their pockets. They're lining their pockets. They're building. They don't care about how much water there is, because we're going to run out of water in this valley too, by the way. News flash, we're going to run out of water. This is a dry place. It's not going to be able to sustain the amount of people that are trying to move here. And I really can't wrap my head around, other than that it's beautiful and you can go camping. And I mean, I get that, but why the influx of people? Is it slowing down? I haven't checked the statistics. Is it slowing down? I mean, I can only hope. And yet on the flip side, I feel for my friends that are contractors and working in construction and builders, that the more people move here, the more they can provide for their families because they have a job. They can work their trade. And I mean, it's just a hard balance. It's a hard balance to strike. But sometimes being a person who's from here and just watching this valley progressively fill up more and more and more. And by the way, like if you're you're not even a first generation Montanan, say you moved here 20 or 30 years ago and you complain about how bad it is. Well, it's bad because you moved here. It's bad because you and people like you moved here to get away from stuff, and you all brought yourselves with you. Just so no one who's had family that goes back almost 100, 200, 150 years, no one who goes back that far in this place is going to have any sympathy for you who moved here. Within, like, you weren't born here, you just moved here, and oh, we all have it in common now. Yeah, I'm really upset that it's bad too. It wasn't like that when I moved here and took up land and built a house. And again, I understand. I've got a little bit of irrational anger on this because people have to have homes and they have to live and they have to move and they have to have jobs. And I get that. And part of me is really glad. I'm glad that industries are doing well in the valley. I'm glad that there are a lot of places to work. And yet the people working in these places, how do they afford homes? The same folks, especially wealthy people that move here, how many of them I heard complain? I heard complain about the fact that nobody wants to work in Bozeman. And I want to say, okay, you're going to work at McDonald's and afford $2,500 a month for rent? It's ridiculous. And I'm sure there are greater economical factors, whatever. But it's just annoying. I'm reminded of my massive level of anger toward city people that move here and just have zero regard for how it was. They don't care. They move here to get away from something, and they bring the something they wanted to get away from with them. And again, my California friends, whom I love you very much. They assimilated. You can assimilate. You can assimilate. You could go ask questions. You could go talk with farmers and ranchers and other small town people who have been here for generations, and you could say, hey, what are some of the things that maybe I shouldn't do or say? What are some of the hot buttons that I should avoid? And they'll tell you, but you don't want to listen. You don't want to listen. You don't want to listen to anybody who's from here because we're all stupid. We're all a bunch of hicks. We're all a bunch of backwater hicks, slack-jawed yokel idiots, and you don't care. You want our image. You want our image. You want to prostitute our lifestyle out to yourself and your friends. You want to get all duded up and look the part. You've never been within arm's reach of a cow or a piece of machinery. You want to come here. You want to look the part. You want to act like you're from here, and you have no idea. And you don't want to learn. You don't want to learn because you'd never ask. You'll never ask, and it's ridiculous. My brothers and I, we mourn. We mourn for the Montana we grew up in, and I get that. Like, you can never go home. You can never go home because you change and the place that you came from changes. But we mourn. My family and I, we mourn. We mourn the place that is no longer here. Now, grateful that the place I grew up is still intact, and my dad and brother are doing their darndest to keep it going. But it gets discouraging for us. And that's what's so funny is, obviously, I'm just ranting to other people who are from Montana or get the Montana thing because they're the people who listen to this. But these folks that are moving here, like the lady who was actively cutting me off and driving like a total turd in her luxury sedan from California, she doesn't care. She doesn't care, and she never will care. There is literally no hope for some of these people because they don't want to learn. Like, if someone doesn't want to learn, their learning is directly connected to their desire to learn. And if you don't want to learn, you're not going to learn unless you run into certain situations with natural-born Montanans and you experience some form of consequence that will force you to learn. But even then, they won't learn because they'll sue. They'll sue, take you to court, buy this, buy that, money, Gucci sunglasses and a Stetson cowboy hat, tiptoeing through a mud puddle in my designer sneakers. This is Bozeman. This is probably why I don't get a lot of gigs in this town. And so when I do get one, I'm going to make it count. I am going to make it count. I'll just tell you that. I am going to make it count. And I have played multiple songs about my disdain for people trying to change this place in front of tourists, and they don't seem to make the connection, so I'm going to keep doing it. It's really funny. You go ahead and eat your chicken strips and drink your microbrew beer that you think is good, and you have no idea what the best microbrewery in Bozeman is because you can't Google it. You have to know, and I'm not telling you. Anyway, well, maybe I will. Actually, I'm not going to because then I'll make a friend mad. Yeah, the two best. The two best. Okay, I'll give you the two best. No, I'm not going to. Because if you send this to your out-of-state friends, I don't want them to have this information. And if you're an out-of-stater who's moved here and you've lasted for 25 minutes, congratulations. Go back home anyway, though. Anyway, a little short one for you. I have a few guests that I wanna bring back on. I don't know. Val and I are going to do another episode. We want to talk about our vacation times because we had a really nice time. We went up north to the northwest part of the state, and there's still a few people up there that are nice. So that was really shocking and interesting. And there's some other folks. I really want to get my dad back, get my brothers back. I've got some people kind of lined up, but you know how summer is, especially up here in the Great White North. You want to make hay while the sun's shining. But anyway, little short episode for you. I know there's a couple people. Growing Away Girls, thank you for listening. There you go. There's an episode. I dedicate this to you and to the rest of you who are Montanans in your hearts and souls. Keep up the fight. And you know what? If you're not from here, just be nice.